G'day! In today's video I'm doing a frame/screen replacement on a Samsung Galaxy A52. I've had it sitting on my blue heat pad here for about 10 minutes, put a fair bit of heat into the foam which will make the adhesive a bit tacky to deal with, and now I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol and a thin metal pry tool to get into it. So I'm just going to go around the plastic back here, and this should be able to get me in there without too much drama. So right now it's peeling off very well, actually a bit better than I originally anticipated. There we go. I should just be able to fold it like a book. And also with a bit of luck, you should be able to keep the original gasket still on there, or double-sided adhesive. So right now I've completely removed it off here. And now, from here I'm going to proceed to remove all the Phillips head screws I can find. Now with previous models of the A50s, or A series, all the screws have been the same length. So I'm going to assume that they are going to be that case here as well. So I'll zoom you guys in a bit further and move the phone up. There we go. Let's continue. So there would be various parts available for the Samsung. So you may be able to just buy the screen by itself. I'd buy it as the original Samsung service pack screen, which does come as a frame and a few other little things there, which I'll go over in a minute. The first thing I want to do once you get that back off, you want to, so from here, I'm now going to take off the back shield. Actually, I've still left two screws. Also, do note that this is still getting done under, or with temperature applied to it, so it does make it a fair bit easier to disassemble. And once we're here, we can disconnect the battery. Just flick your nail under it, and we're out. Same with the main flex connector. There we go, that's good. And from here, there is also one screw down here. Also, while we're at it, before we go too far, I'm going to take the SIM tray out. There we go. And I do want to disconnect the antenna cables. There, click. Just going under and pulling up, and they should come off, like so. Now from here, undo the single black screw that's there. What I'm hoping from here is that I should be able to lift out the main board. I'm not sure which direction it will need to lift to begin with. There we go. Up and wiggle, and we're out. So I'll put that aside. We'll compare it with the replacement display that I've got, which, as I can already see, I will need to move over the vibrator motor, which hasn't really changed in about a decade. So we go like this, just prying my tweezers underneath and then lifting up. But as mentioned, with the heat already applied, it does make it considerably easier to do. I'm going to put it in that one. Next I'm going to focus on is down here, where the daughter board is. And these screws also do look to be the same size as the upper half of the phone. One screw that doesn't want to leave. There we go. Move that out of the way, and now I'm going to lift up this plastic here using the tweezers. There we go. And we're in. Zoom in a bit further. We have the under-screen fingerprint scanner here with the antenna cables. which I'm just going to lift up. Put the daughter board, main board connector here, and the one for the screen. So we'll have to disconnect this one on the edge. There we go. It's now disconnected. We do have one Phillips head screw here. Put that aside just for a second. And I will disconnect the under fingerprint scanner. Now I'm going to just nudge it up and try and lift it. There we go. Once I've lifted it out, go over to the other screen, remove the film that's on it, and I should just be able to drop it in there, like so. Now it's time to remove the daughter board, which I'll put under and pry. And these are usually stuck down fairly well, so there is a bit of resistance. Okay, usually more than that. And I'm going to just go over and drop it into the other one. From here, depending on the age of the phone, you give the charger port a clean. So usually they end up with dirt and dust in here. If you've got a pair of tweezers that fit in there, probably give it a clean now. Otherwise, we'll proceed. Now we'll take this back out. And it is going to make the job of putting it in harder. It seems to be fairly stuck there, so I'll just keep going. Go in and down. There we go. Connect up the scanner. Looking good. Put in the Phillips head screw. Back in. Looks like it is running this one. So I'll go white under, blue over. I'll just feed into the gap, push it down lightly. I'll worry about that in a minute. Same with the blue. Lightly feed. Just proceed up just so it stays in there. Looking good. Next we want to connect up the screen connector. So just loosely put it over the top, wiggle it, and then push down. That should make a bit of a crunch click noise, and that's when we know we're good. Now from here, I'm going to put the bottom connector back on, or bottom cover, and I'll put its screws back in. The next biggest challenge is going to be removing that battery, which with the friend of isopropyl heat and a pry tool, it shouldn't be too bad. Or at least that's what I'm expecting. So yeah, as I mentioned, I do have the heat going. It is going to make it easier for me to do. If you don't have any heat getting applied to the phone periodically or constantly, then it is going to be a bit more difficult to do. As you can see, I've just pinched some screws from the middle section, which I had for the top. That's all good. So now I'm going to go to here. I'll put a couple of squirts in underneath, just along the bottom, or a bit of a dribble in there. And that should almost work its magic basically straight away. So thin pry tool or plastic pry tool should lift it out. One battery removed. We did bow it slightly, so I should just be able to push over the top here, like that, and reform it. Take off the old tape. And this one, I believe I'm now done with that, so that can get thrown to the side. Bring this over front and center, and we'll just get some double-sided tape. So run that along here, this along here too. Really don't need to use too much there, just enough that it will stop the phone from rocking around. There we go. And next up, I'm going to remove the front facing camera cover, line up the motherboard and drop it into place. Just loosely push around. And next up, another Phillips head screw, back in. Now probably the next difficult thing here is going to be reconnecting up the antenna cables, which usually do provide a bit of a challenge. So the tweezers help make it get steady, push over the top, and then a bit of pinpoint pressure. There we go. They will make a little click when they're on, and if they're successfully attached, you should just be able to nudge it like that, and it shouldn't disconnect or fall off. Run that through there, like that. Rerun the blue one. I feel like I may have put the antennas back to front. I'll just double check that in 1 second. No, it's all good. So we'll just proceed. Line it up over here. There we go, and that has reattached for me. They usually are a bit more trickier than that, or I think it's more experience that I've gotten pretty well nowadays. Line it up over here. Extend out the card, or the flex connector, line it up over the top of the plug, wiggle it around a bit, it shouldn't move, and you should just be able to push down and click into position. Like so. Then from there, we've got the battery to reconnect. Line it up, click, into position. And next up we've got this to go. This one's an under screen earpiece speaker, I believe. So it vibrates the screen itself, or at least I think that's the purpose of it. There we go. So we're pretty much on the home stretch now. So what we're going to do is just put in the last of the Phillips head screws. We've got the daughter board / screen cable flex connected. We have the battery connected. We've still got our cameras connected. Should have successfully reconnected our antenna cables. So from here, you should hopefully be pretty much done. Really not too much else to say about this particular job. It's fairly similar to other Samsung A series phones that have come out in the last couple of years. Maybe a little bit easier, just mainly because the cable going from the charger port in the display to the main board is one big cable. On the A20, A30s, they're two separate cables. Now, also because I've had my back cover on the heat pad here, it makes it. But as I think I was just saying, my back cover of the phone has been sitting there on the heat pad the whole time. So the actual adhesive on it's very tacky, so it's going to stick back perfectly fine. You may have to replace that on yours if you end up damaging the double-sided adhesive or the factory adhesive as you were getting it out. But from here I should just be able to line it up, push down, and work my way around. And we're pretty much stuck on from there. So right now, I believe the phone will be dead flat as it was broken screen. I know, there we go, all good. So that's how to replace the screen on your Samsung Galaxy A52. I hope this helps you, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.